Hey everybody, DK from the Resupply here. We're doing another breakdown on one of the games from 2023 Laserforce Internationals, and I am here joined today by Lucidun. How you doing?
Hi, Nick. Thank you for inviting me over. It's a pleasure to talk about game and my first NES and my first Space Marine proper tournament in general.
Excellent, excellent. So this was the last game of round play. It was you guys against Auckland B, and I know you guys had a little bit of a struggle in the week, and not just from like gameplay stuff, but you rostered 7 people, so you were constantly changing people in and out, and trying to figure out where everybody plays best and that kind of thing. So this being your last game, what kind of thought went into the lineup that you all chose for this particular game?
I remember that I was kind of, hey, let's go with like good old classic. So all of us were kind of in the roles that fitted us. So I was MO, I was medic, our strongest resupply yet, I would say. So on Scout, he was actually the one who scored the most, I think, on the Scout over the week.
Yeah, Linsol was a
Uh,
great scout.
yeah. Then Marcus at Scout as well, and Hoodie as a commander. So we went with this kind of a roster for the last game, and we were like, hey, let's try it again in this good old roster, and we'll see the outcome. And it was wow.
Yeah, I think given the personnel that you had for this particular game, that was probably about the best lineup that you could have chosen. And I mean, the lineup you went up against for Auckland B was no pushover either. They had Know It All, who was their best commander in his best position. So it's not like they were presenting you guys with just this sort of easy walk-on game or something like that. You definitely earned your stripes in this game. So
Yeah.
what were you thinking early on? I know different teams had different considerations when they would start a game about who they wanted to resupply, how many people they wanted to resupply. It looks like you guys resupplied one scout and then had Al resupply you, and it looks like you took off toward long ramp if I'm remembering how this game started.
Yeah. Basically, at the start of each game, we were like, "Hey guys, who wants resupply?" And they raised their hands or faces, and then we basically ran somewhere. And in this game, we actually tried to take on the upstairs. So we were like, "Hey, let's try that. Let's keep it, and we'll see how it goes."
So
And
you
as
hadn't been
you
going
see,
upstairs in some of the previous games then.
yeah, we mostly tried to like defend downstairs. We had our our call called awesome, which means eight in Czech. Yeah,
Oh,
it's kind of like, it kind of sounds like an awesome, but it basically means awesome in Czech, which means eight. So that was our code name for like, hey, let's head to the disco if anything like screws up. So we tried to attack and keep the nest upstairs, and yeah, it kind of worked out.
interesting, interesting. It reminds me of another team that had trouble holding upstairs and then decided they had to change it up in their last game and just attack the upstairs. Okay, so Heavy's mutual here. It looks like you get control of Nest. I think Al's gonna tell. Is Al telling you to go and watch Long Ramp right now?
Yes, and I did, and accidentally forgot to show a shoulder, so I'll
Aha!
immediately receive the yellow card.
So there goes the penalty on against Mr. Doom, who is obviously coming up.
Yeah. But also, you gotta say that in this game, I was kind of a battle medic. I don't know how it happened.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I kind of
had
know because I assumed that this costume will be Scout again. He was playing Scout most of the time. And I started attacking him. It will be seen in some of the footage. I started attacking him, and I was like, "Hey, why wouldn't you die?" And then I realized, "Hey, wait, he's a 3 hit. Oh no!"
yeah that
So
gets
yeah,
a little bit awkward. I think he did something similar to us in one of the games that we played as well.
so since then I kind of became a battle medic. So I actually went and saw the scorecard after the match, and I was like, I dominated over everyone actually, and I was like, what?
Yeah, the battle medic, as long as you're not running out into combat, can be pretty useful. It's nice when you're able to score some points for your team. So
Yeah.
here it looks like they're running a double scout pincer attack kind of. We had Stallion who was attacking through sort of that green hallway, and Mr. Doom had come up long ramp temporarily, sort of takes you guys out, but obviously Duckman's gonna clear it here. Um, Duckman, I'm sure, gets his shoulder around the corner in time. But I feel like I'd be remiss if I was like, I feel like the U.S. players were copping a lot of shit for making this exact same motion all week, and the down under players are not immune from that. But I think it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
I mean,
good turn for him. I think that was fine.
yeah, yeah. I had a hard time like to realize that I have to show shoulder or be aware of some things, but I think I'm kind of familiar with it now after 118 games.
Mm-hmm. So a little scary moment here. Al down to 3 lives, and you got temporarily displaced from the nest. So remember how anything was feeling at this particular moment? Did you know how low Al was on lives?
Yeah, I kept repeating, "Oh, hey, I need to resupply you because you will be out of alive soon." While we were like standing next to each other, and I heard his suit, and he was like, "No, just wait, I need to defend you." And I was like, "You realize when you will be out of alive, we're out of the game."
Don't,
So
don't you
yeah,
hate these ammos who think they know better than the medic? Us medics, we really got to keep these ammos under control, you know.
oh yeah. So yeah, we were kind of flushed to this corner where the android is,
Mm-hmm.
and stayed there for I don't know for how long, but it wasn't that long until our scouts and our 3 hits like cleared it, and we will be back in a minute. But it was a scary moment, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's about 40 seconds or so until things kind of stabilize here. But I made a little note here coming up about 15 seconds that both teams actually get in sort of a danger zone for their ammo and their heavy. So it's obvious there were pretty strong attacking that was going on against both teams since the primary defenders for both of the medics get so low here. We have other DK down to 8. Stu was down to 5. They both just got some resupply, so they're stabilizing a little bit. Night Owl on 4. So you obviously gave him one resupply then, which is good because otherwise he'd be on 1.
Yeah. Yeah, and now here we will stand our secure position, and we'll be double tapping everyone, even each other, which was kind of cool when this was like available to happen.
Yeah, got some stability here finally. Al still needs to be getting lives on these different cycles as it's going through, but I know you're trying to resupply everybody's coming through. Hoodlum and Soul had a real good opening as well. I noted what a great attack they had around the 1 minute mark. So just doing kind of a check in at this stage in the game. Know It All is 3 specials ahead of Hoodlum, but not that much. And then medics are totally even. So even though this kind of opening attack, it did some damage to you. It did a lot of damage to the other team also, and you now have control of upstairs. So since you managed to take and hold nest, how are you feeling at this stage in the game? That okay, we got flush from nest once, but we got it back. So now how you planning to handle that going forward?
I really felt confident because Al knew what he was doing. He was kind of like our strategic planner for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically listened to him and yeah, did my best as a medic. And we realized that we don't have bases and we won't have it for a certain amount of time.
Right.
But we'll get to it.
Yeah, and that's sometimes the sacrifice that you make playing upstairs is, well, we know we're gonna have to do a base run at some point. Whereas if you stay downstairs, maybe the first time you get kicked or the bases are right there sometimes, and it's easy to get them early. But you're right, that changes the strategy a little bit because you also know that you might not have the boost quite as early. Although I think you're gonna get a boost before you even get your first base because they won't leave you alone.
Yeah, I think I do because obviously I was putting the team down. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right here, right on.
Yep, got one there. Ben got a little bit too much with his gun ahead of him and broke that plane of that wall. So you and Al both get him. So Ducky's doing some good backtracks here. got some good resupplies in. So your team's real healthy right now. Know-it-all's down to 8 lives, 11 shots, but has the nuke, so it's probably him thinking about going back. But your team is real healthy. 109 lives. The lowest person is Night Owl, who's right next to you at 10, so filling him up shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. I mean, whenever someone goes around me, I ask him if they need a resupply,
Mm-hmm.
and if they want, I'll just shoot them. If they don't, and I don't hear noise around me or see anyone, I just shoot them anyway because you can like how to say you'll be able to go around without the shots and like stay alive, but without lives, it's kind of worse. And plus the detail that medic can be eliminated earlier than the ammo. That's it. So
Yeah, I think you articulated it perfectly, and that's such an important thing. I think Thunder has called that his like fundamental theorem of laser tag or something close to it. That you can operate without shots, but you can't do anything without lives. So you better make sure
yeah.
that you have those, and it's good to be aware of that as a medic too. One thing I had thought about here, so I'm not too sure. I know you had Hoodlum and Duckman both getting resupplied up in this corner, but where Al is right now, you two have really bad visibility and nobody's watching long ramp. So was somebody covering that at the time? I can't. Obviously, we can't really see off camera left to what's happening on the long
Um,
ramp.
I think actually Marcus and Saul were kind of cruising around as well. So
Mm,
yeah, I think we were kind of okay. Or if our spotted hurt someone, yeah, we just resupplied so Saul was cruising around.
okay.
He was covering us. But yeah, obviously when we saw someone or heard someone, we switched positions like here. Yeah, and
Yep.
we were
And
ready. So
yeah, you got the miniature totem pole going here, where you have the guns on two levels. And it's interesting that Al's crouched in front of you, so it's giving you the opportunity to take that shot there, and he can still get one ahead. So it's good on Duckman for letting you guys know that Stu is coming around the corner, and obviously isn't going to be able to tag Duckman because he's backtracked, but can still get that medic hit if you're not fast. So that was good alignment on that wall. And then I think on the next attack, Stu actually makes a good adjustment.
yeah,
So
yeah,
okay, so Duckman gets resupplied there. Oh, doesn't backtrack, but still gets put down. So he keeps his gun higher that time, so he can make sure that he gets you. So I guess after the first time, you two should have swap seat, and Al can stand up and you can crouch down.
I actually don't know why we did this, like standings, yeah. But it was kind of good for us in the end. I mean, mm, I was kind of the bait, I would say,
Oh
as
yeah,
as I as I was the primary shooter,
naughty
be ready to
Stu,
stop
naughty
someone.
Stu, right there.
Oh yeah,
Didn't remember Ducky backtracked.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point about the using the ammo as bait though. I know Odin said much the same thing throughout the week when we were playing resupply. It's like way harder, I think, just in the couple of games that I played ammo in Auckland, because sometimes that's what you have to do and you don't always have the same degree of visibility. Versus when you go play Brisbane, you'll be able to see like how visible things are, and that's just like my dream as an ammo, that you can see the whole field and start just popping shots off wherever you want. But it's hard in Auckland for sure.
Yeah, and back home, almost every time I play resupply, and when I ended up as an ammo, I was putting my medic down almost immediately
Mm-hmm.
because we don't have resets, um, we don't have your rules, so we kind of played it differently. And even if I was medic, I asked my ammo to almost put me down every time, even when we heard someone was like running towards us because it was kind of safer for us to keep the medic alive. So
Oh yeah, if there's no resets, you can kind of cheese that and just keep the medic down all the time when they're not resupplying. So that
yeah, yeah,
adds
yeah.
quite the additional kind of strategy when you have to worry about, okay, well, is it better to leave the medic up so they can shoot, or should we put them down so at least they have 4 seconds of save time? Here, I think I made a note that we're kind of crossing over from, I would think, the early game into the mid game. And I don't have any real hard and fast rules for what separates the early game from the mid game, except to note here that if you look at the number of lives that each medic has and you look at how many specials each commander has, if you adjust for those nukes, basically you're down to 10 lives. If know-it-all drops that nuke, that puts you on 10. That means you're halfway out. So I think that's kind of a good indicator for when you're getting ready to switch to the mid game. So had you given any real thought here to giving your life situation? You have a boost. You know you're going to need bases. What are you kind of thinking here in terms of what you want the team to do next?
I actually think that we were kind of at this station. We were kind of all at one place, as you can see. We
Mm-hmm.
were resupplying. We were just like getting ready for the possible new nuke drop, and it was kind of important for everyone to be resupplied before that happened. And I think Marcus was the main one who was cruising down there and calling out.
Sure.
So I sometimes heard out, "Hey, this one's down or this one's coming," and I kind of awaited the nuke drop from Know It All, but I wasn't familiar with our situation, which was like kind of,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, we should drop as well, and while who do you is dropping, we should get our bases."
Yep, good way to do it. So that was kind of just the thinking here going forward is okay. Well, as soon as Hoodlum nukes, we'll go get our bases. Then we can boost. We'll be in a good position. Here, I wanted to pause because we can watch your play of the game here, where you stop the team from getting flushed because you guys are totally naked to stew here. Obviously, someone is shooting his gun right now. I think he's faced up with Marcus, but Al's turned in the wrong direction. So this is all you, Lucy. Boom!
Bam,
Look at
bam,
that.
bam.
2 shots. Get out of here, Stu.
This is our nest.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, otherwise you probably get flushed at that point. Um,
I
so
actually
here,
think it's going to happen again once Know It All drops, because we will kind
yeah.
of disappear somewhere, and I don't remember where actually. That's the blank spot where I don't remember what happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, things get a little disjointed here in kind of the mid section of the game, which happens in a lot of cases. The mid game is really hard because it's not always clear what you should do. Early game, you're basically you're trying to get to the point that you want to hold during the game, and late game you're either trying to eliminate their team or you're trying to stop yourself from getting eliminated. But in that mid section of the game, when both medics are still alive, sometimes it's hard to know exactly what the right thing to do is. Red, I think, though, is a little bit more disjointed than you are right now. We can see that the Duckman obviously got in and cracked him a little bit, and he had quite the attack. Where he gets down Ben, he gets down other DK, he resets Disco Stew, so he can't retaliate. Is going to get Minette a couple of times here off of a reset. So things have definitely flipped in your favor, even though Ben's about to get to 2 nukes. You now have Manette down to 9 lives. So with you having the better position, more lives right now, and you yourself have more lives, it's looking a lot better for your team than did maybe a minute before.
Yeah, we really worked on the double taps and resupplies in this game, because we were like, okay, let's secure the nest and let's keep everyone alive as long as we can. So
Mm-hmm. So here's I think where I sort of made a note that I might swap what the two of you are doing. Have you watch the long ramp and have Al watch someplace else, but I'm not sure if something else happened that made that a little difficult. But Hoodlum saves you from doom on that one. Duckman still doing work. Let's see. I think. Okay, so here we go. Know it all starting the nuke sequence. So at this point, were you anticipating that by this point in the game that Know it all was probably going to have 2 nukes when this started dropping?
yeah, I kind of felt that.
The nice thing is at least you guys had control of Disco because your players backtrack into there. There's Marcus and Soul getting control of Disco. So obviously that's okay if you guys need to go there. Their team did their base run off of that. But even though drop those two nukes, it's really not a terrible situation for you. You're still on six. In that kind of scenario, for me, at least as a medic, I'm feeling great. If they've double nuked, I still have 6 lives, and our commander hasn't dropped yet. 6 lives can be a lot in that sort of scenario. I'm like, okay, that's no problem. As soon as we answer with our nukes, you just hope the other medic is less healthy than you, I guess.
Yeah. And I think we weren't flushed entirely because we were hiding just behind the wall where Doom is currently sitting.
So so you're
Yeah, yeah.
behind this wall over here by
Yeah, when there
the
was the
claw, I think is what
little
they call
little
it.
hiding spot.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, so there's
I think
obviously
we were actually there.
there's
Yeah.
two reds who are looking here to pincer you here. I know it kind of goes bad for you here in the middle. Okay, so Duckman gets put down there again. Oh yeah, Night Owl just got missiled. You got tagged again. You're going through on this side. Oh, you go to the corner, but you get tagged again. Now all of a sudden you've gone from 6 lives to 3 lives. So if I get double nuked as a medic and I still have 6 lives, I'm feeling pretty good. But then if I lose 3 in real quick succession, now things have changed. Because once you hit those 3 lives, now what do you start thinking?
I was under pressure. I was like, "Oh, this is bad." Okay, so better our hoodie will drop now, and we should get our bases, which
Mm-hmm.
kind of happens in about a couple of minutes. And better resupply everyone as
Here he
fast as I
goes.
can. That doesn't matter if they want it or not, because
Yep.
they need lives. I will be out soon, so
Yep. Okay, so here you guys go. And okay, you go down middle ramp. And so you're gonna go red to blue. Yep. Which is usually how I would do it from upstairs also. I think it's better to use middle ramp, you're a little bit more covered.
I actually think we kinda managed to bait everyone to go upstairs. So our scouts and our triples were upstairs fighting the red team, and me
Mm-hmm.
and Owl basically ran around the bases.
Hey, that's the way to do it. If the other team is all busy going someplace else, then you can just go get the bases at your leisure. So both medics are in nuke range at this point. But other than that, the teams could kind of go either way here. But obviously, the real key feature that's going to come into stark contrast here is what's going on with Mr. Doom's lives. Him being on 3 right here is a major advantage to your team because it means he cannot really attack. Minette knows that the next nuke is going to get her out. You know the next nuke is going to get you out, but you got your bases, you have a boost in the pocket. You've basically done everything that you can as a medic at this point, and you're just thinking like, okay, just got to fill up the team, just got to fill up the team. But next
Yeah.
nuke is going to be real crucial because that is if the medic isn't out before the next nuke is going to take out one medic or the other. So that's when it's really crunch time.
At this point, I was like, kinda, how to say, I was really ready to fire everyone and anything at the time they come close to me, either
Mm-hmm.
is a friend or foe.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so now
Yeah,
we got
you can see me sitting down there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's honestly not a terrible place to be because a lot of times, unless they're coming from this green hallway, they come right up middle ramp or something like that. It's hard for them to remember to check that corner if they haven't looked through the window on there, and if they're faced up with Al, they might not even pay any attention to you. But now
I
we
actually
got
think
the
someone else was in there with us
mm-hmm.
because I was looking at them, and if there will be hit or won't be hit, or the response from someone who was standing there with us.
Yeah. Well, it temporarily looked like it wasn't going great for you because you went from 6 to 3 lives pretty quick, but now fortune has reversed itself. Minette is out. Now we can definitely say that the late game is starting because one of the medics is dead. So as soon as that happens, the team that still has a medic should know that well, if they can just fill up, they can put themselves on a course for an elimination because we're still before the 5 minute timer at this point. So really, I mean, nobody on your team is super healthy here. Night Owl's not doing too bad, but everybody could use a few more taps of lives. But as long as they get it, that should pretty much secure the game for you. It's just a question of can you pass up those lives quick enough, or are people going to come back to you quick enough before Know It All gets to that next nuke?
Yeah, and we see that I have boosted a couple of seconds ago, so
Hmm. Yeah, unfortunately, not a whole ton of people got it, but you really don't have a whole lot of a choice there. You kind of just have to
yeah.
get the boost when you get it because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't want to wait until he's nuking because you might get put down or something. Okay, know it all's coming back around. He's got one. He's got two. Uh-oh, he got the third one. Oh, he shot you for the last couple
Yeah.
of specials.
And I'm
Okay,
hanging on one life.
on one life, getting out those lives as much as you can. Are you in? Where are you right now? You must be hiding behind one of the walls.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
or
okay.
yeah,
Probably
yeah.
Doom's looking at you right now.
Oh no, I was on the other side. Oh yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
was on
and
the
good thing you
downking wall.
managed, and good thing you managed to put down Know It All right there too, because that's gonna save your other life as well.
Oh yeah. As I said, that was definitely the case. Zap or be zap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not really sure why Know It All waited so long. Well, actually, he didn't really wait that long. He got those 10 specials and went from 20 to 30 really quickly. But really, as soon as he got that last shot on you and he got that nuke, he really should have just run away and dropped it as soon as possible because by the time he activates it here, Doom's already out. You've already had a few seconds to get a few more taps of lives into people, and even though you didn't fill people up quite as much as you wanted to, this is a
Oh
nice
yeah.
sequence. You got
We're in the
all four of
dropping
them.
one. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you what happened. I was standing there.
Mm-hmm.
I heard the quote that indicated the nuke, and obviously my suit was telling me that nuke's dropping.
Yeah.
And I knew that everyone is like literally next to me. So I ran out, resupplied everyone. That didn't matter what they were doing. I was like, hey guys, I'll be out. And we supplied four, no, five out of, or four, come on, almost everyone,
Yep.
only Saul. And if you reverse it back a bit, you actually see Saul running like straight to me,
Uh-huh.
realizing that he's late.
Yeah. Fortunately, he still has a pretty good number of lives when you get taken out. So
Yeah,
really, you
but
filled
it's
the four
funny.
people you needed to fill because
Yeah,
definitely
yeah. I was
definitely
like,
had
hey
help.
guys, I'll be out soon. I'll need to shoot you. And I think he heard that. And so you'll see how he's kind of running towards me, but the nuke already dropped.
Yep. And then I backed up a little bit here because I wanted to showcase a great play from other DK here up in Nest, where he starts ping ponging 3 hits. Come on, you guys know better than that. You gotta scatter out of there. You just got like 800 points off of you guys. Move, guys. So how I think this is when you come out of the game. I think Kelly and Redneck Tech are looking and seeing you come out of the game right
Yeah.
now. So when you look up and see the scoreboard when you coming out, how are you feeling about how your team's doing and how the game went now that you don't get to be a part of it anymore?
I was feeling really confident, to be honest, because I saw that two other players are out already and that their lives are not in a good, like, not position, but not in a good state. And
Mm-hmm.
so that we have a chance. So I was like, I went to the lobby and watched it with you and all the other guys, and realizing that I literally did my best, did the resupply chain, I
Yeah.
was like, hey guys, please do this. If you can do this, this will be an awesome memory to have.
Yeah, with your last 3 lives, you got off a boost, and you essentially negated that nuke because you gave Night Owl and Duckman the lives that they were about to lose anyway. So it basically keeps them at where they were before. So I would agree. You literally did everything you possibly could to help your team right before you died, and that's always a good feeling as a medic.
Oh yeah.
Um, and here, so everybody in your team is pretty healthy in terms of shots. So you're ready to attack. I don't know why Soul is sitting here filling. He's got plenty. 19 lives, 43 shots. He could be somewhere else unless he's actively defending Al. He doesn't need to fill, and Hoodlum doesn't need to fill right here either. Hoodlum has plenty of stuff. He should be thinking about getting that next nuke as quick as possible. Because I assume that everybody knew on your team that Manette was out. Like your team had called out the enemy medic was dead, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I think they're getting it because we were about to start the pressure on the other team. So
Hmm.
maybe that's the point where they wanted to be like filled with ammo so they can go out and shoot or defend Owl because he's
Yeah.
now at 8 lives. So
Oh, Al, you gave away that missile. You could have got out of there sooner.
and I remember while we were standing here in the lobby, everyone was like, "Hey Owl, you know that you have boost. Just
Yep. And Hoodlum stubbornly keeps fighting even though he's got a nuke. So Know-It-All held on to a nuke a little bit too long, and now Hoodlum's going to hold on to a nuke a little too long. And it doesn't end up mattering, but if I'm in Hoodlum's situation, I know you got the other team on the run. If the medic's out, you just have to drop that nuke as quick as you can because you never know when
yeah,
you're going to get another player out. And you have to get that numbers advantage against the other team.
yeah." The two constant shouts here were drop and boost. So
Yep. There's just a lot of dead time that happens here. I know everybody's tired because this was the last game of round play. Everybody's looking to finals, but not a ton of urgency on the part of either team here. Although other DK is certainly fighting for his life and tagging everybody in sight.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, here
as
goes
an
Chip.
ammo, you can literally shoot and shoot and shoot without consequences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, DK just got boosted by himself, and I think about the last minute from shooting your 3 hits so much. So now both commanders have a nuke, and it was just the question. And I remember spectating this and said, well, you guys probably had it, but if Ben gets that nuke off first, it at least gives them a chance to fight a little bit since they still had both 3 hits alive.
And
And
he's
here he goes.
dropping. Yeah.
But
At this
fortunately,
point, I
mhm,
was really scared.
yeah, I would be too because I'm like, okay, I'm feeling good, but see how good it is that you managed to give Duckman that one last tap of lives because he'd be dead right now otherwise, and so would Night Owl. So that
Yeah.
that last little resupply was one of those little clutch moments that was kind of needed. Why are you not dropping, Hoodlum? Come on. Should have got him on this recording so we could have berated him and said, "Why weren't you dropping?" See if he could defend himself. What are you thinking
I
here, bud?
actually kind of find funny that Owl stayed in the nest all the time with the one life.
Yeah,
And
that's
he's
kind of
gonna be fighting Stallion. That's the funniest thing.
that's kind of an interesting thing too because I mean, really, as an ammo at this point, he may not know exactly what the situation is with the Commander in Heavy's lives, but I would be just attaching myself to Duckman's hip and staying behind him at all times, so that way, as soon as a hit point's taken out of his shield, Al can reset it and keep him alive longer. Like you don't want to get shot yourself, and I understand that's why he's hiding. But really, like keeping your 3 hits alive is probably the most important thing. And great move from Hoodlum there. Right after he gets the nuke, he manages to missile Disco Stew out of the game because that was the
Oh
big
yeah.
thing. Is that if both heavies were still on 2 lives, there could still be some opportunities for clashing there, and for you guys not to be able to finish them off in a timely fashion. So the fact that he gets 5 lives off of Disco Stew that quick, I
And
don't
now
think that
Owl is
alone runs
playing
you.
hide and seek with Stallion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Stein's creeping around, creeping around, creeping around.
But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Uh-oh.
If he didn't miss out him, the game would have come out differently.
Mm-hmm. And Al sees the shadow.
Yeah, that was one of the great things in the nest that you can actually see the shadow of someone.
Yeah, yeah. That I think was a big help since I couldn't see neither you or I could see through that window. We had to rely on that shadow being cast off the wall sometimes to let us know somebody was coming.
And here it
Here
goes.
it goes.
And you can see the high five from Steve in
Yep.
there right now.
Yeah, I love seeing that too. That even the refs were cheering for you.
And I mean, it was incredible atmosphere. I mean, I was the main shouter who was like, yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing you in the background. I think if
It was incredible.
we back up, we can even probably hear some of it on stream here.
Yeah.
Not enough for the whole thing, but we'll take it. Yes. Very nice. Very nice.
And I remember after that, Owl came out and he was like, "You were a beast. You did a bloody great job." And he literally lifted me in the air.
Oh yeah. I would have to agree. I mean, those were absolutely clutch resupplies. Keeping more of your team in the field longer proved the difference maker here. So how did that? I mean, I have a pretty good idea how it felt because I could hear you cheering. But how did it feel to win your first tournament Space Marines 5 game in the international system?
That was just incredible feeling, and even when I'm watching it, my heart is just like beating and my pulse is immediately rising because wow, what a moment to remember.
I know exactly what you mean. Well, that was some good fun. Any final thoughts on this game, Lucy?
Don't give up in any case. Like me when I was playing the commanders, and then the scout in the random draw, so I survived with one life.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up and communicate with your team because that's kind of the essential.
Yep. Well, you got the job done. And yeah, it certainly did never give up in a tournament, even though you hadn't won a game all week. You knew that there was a chance, and you had to give it one last try in your last game. I'm so happy for you guys that you managed to come through and win a game on your last attempt. It was really special, and honestly, it was great for me too because we had been beaten by Brisbane twice in that round. I was feeling a little down, but you lifted me right back up with you guys being able to take that win. It felt really good for me as well to be happy for you guys.
Oh my god, this is so great to hear actually.
I was rooting for you.
Yay!
Well, thanks everybody for watching another one of the commentary breakdowns. Thanks, Lucy, for coming on and talking it over with me, and maybe we'll do this again sometime.
Thank you for having me. It was fun and thank you for the chance.
Absolutely. All right. See everybody next time.